official podcast of the Jacksonville Public Library.
I'm Hurley Winkler.
And I'm Jenna Hassel. We talk about interesting and exciting and inspiring people here in Jacksonville on Completely Booked, and Catalina Alers-Alers happens to be one of them.
Yes, she is the afternoon host on 97.9 KISS FM and also a fellow podcaster.
Yes, she hosts But First Brunch, which is a podcast you can find as well anywhere you listen to podcasts.
Indeed, indeed. And this is only her second time on the other side of the interview process, though, which
I couldn't
is
believe that.
Crazy.
I feel like she's kind of like a local celebrity.
She is a celeb.
Or is that
like,
just me?
No, not just you.
Over meeting her?
No, we both were fangirling so hard.
Okay.
We're like, Catalina, your hair is so beautiful and you're so smart.
Columbian princess.
Right?
I can't.
Yeah,
I know.
no, for sure.
I couldn't believe it. And
For
I
sure.
even admitted to her that I exclusively call her Catalina on air, which is her Instagram name.
Right.
But if I talk about her to anyone, I just said, oh yeah, Catalina on air.
Catalina on air, I know her.
Yeah. But now I do, so we're friends.
Yeah, it's beautiful. First name basis now,
First
just Catalina.
name basis.
Just Catalina.
What would your radio name be? If she's Catalina on air.
Well, I mean, if I were like the afternoon host on 97.9 KISS FM, I think I would probably be DJ Hashwink because my middle name is Ashmore.
Oh my gosh.
So it's Hurley Ashmore Winkler Hashwink. Isn't that great?
I think that's pretty good.
Yeah, I think it has a ring to it.
I mean, way better than what I thought.
What is yours?
So my cat's name is Waffles. So I was gonna put that in there somehow.
Jenna Waffles?
I don't know. Waffles on air.
Waffles on air. Hashwink on air. Waffles on air.
But Hurley calls me J Hass. So maybe,
J Hass,
maybe
yeah.
that would be it.
Yeah, or just JH.
Yeah.
Like we have BT,
Yeah,
JH.
JH.
Yeah.
Jenna Renna is my Instagram name.
Jenna
so
Renna.
My middle name's Renee, but
I like it.
My dad misspelled it when I was born and said RENA on the little charm for my mom. And so it's like a nickname now, that Jenna Renna.
Oh, that's cute. DJ Jenna Renna.
Yeah.
I love it. So Catalina also talked a lot about how podcasting gives everyone an outlet, which
It's very important.
very important. Yeah.
I think so too. You get to make it whatever you want it to be. It's kind of almost, I mean, for us, we're doing it professionally as our job, but
It's true.
a lot of people
Everyone's
do it as
jealous.
Yeah, they are. We get paid to do this. It's
Yes.
fine. But a lot of people do it just as a kind of a passion project or a hobby and get to talk about whatever is interesting to them, which she talks about it. What makes a great podcast, being passionate and interested in what you're talking about. Because people can tell if you don't like what you're talking about or you're not into it.
Oh, absolutely.
It comes across. So
Yeah.
that's the most important thing. So definitely having a platform is really, really important.
And I think we're doing a great job, don't you? We love what we're talking about.
I agree.
Yeah, we
the
love
library. How could you not love the library
Right? I
and
know.
all of our fun residents of Jacksonville?
Yes, and Catalina loves the library so much, and it's like
Indeed.
really evident in her interview. So without further ado, here is Catalina Alers-Alers. Catalina, we're so excited to have you on Completely Booked today. Thanks for joining us.
Of course. I'm so
Yes.
excited. I'm geeking out a little bit.
Yay! A true radio star. First of all, tell us a little bit about yourself. Are you originally from Jacksonville?
Kind of. So how I got here is a little complicated. I was born in Minneapolis, Minnesota, but it doesn't count at all because I moved when I was 9 months. My dad was retired military at the time, but he was still working for the government. So they actually moved us to Ankara, Turkey. And that's where I lived for 5 years. And then we moved to Jacksonville in 94, and I've been here ever since.
Whoa, what a path.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Do you remember Turkey at all?
Oh, yeah. All of my first memories are there.
Oh, wow.
I remember running, the first time my mom let me go and buy bread down the street by myself. She gave me a little $10 bill and I ran down because it was maybe not even a full block down the street from where we lived. So I went to the bakery and bought a little baguette and came back. And I thought I was all on my own. And then my mom actually showed me a picture later on, when I was much older. And she's like, oh, this is the day that you went. And I was taking pictures from the balcony.
Oh,
And
she
so
watched
she
you
was
the whole
watching
way.
me. She watched me the whole way. Yeah. That's where all my first memories are. And it was awesome. It was
Wow.
great.
How old were you when you moved to Jacksonville?
I think I turned 5 that year.
Okay.
Because we moved here in 94. I don't know how old. I don't know how to do math. I was born in 88. So just, and everyone else can do the math. I can't.
Right,
But I
right.
started kindergarten that year.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Did you always want to work in radio?
No, not at all. Like, it didn't even cross my mind until college. But when I think back, radio was such a big part of my life. My parents listened to NPR, so I grew up listening to Diane Rehm and Car Talk every single Saturday morning with my dad. Because we would go to church Saturday mornings, and then after we would get out, it was the perfect time, like when Car Talk was starting. So we would listen to the entire show with my dad, and it was like a little ritual. Like sometimes we would go to Dunkin' Donuts, like through the drive-thru, but it was, and then just how I got like my music and my entertainment was always through radio. Like I grew up listening to the pop station here in Jacksonville, and I didn't realize until I was much older. I was like, it's always been around. Like,
right.
It made complete sense for it to be the career path that I ended up taking.
Did radio come first or did TV come first?
Radio came first as far as like, well, when I was majoring, I originally wanted to be, I wanted to be like 5 different things, but
we all did.
Yeah. So when I eventually claimed a major, it was broadcast journalism. So the idea of TV being first was the original plan, but radio came first. That was my internship, and then that was my first job out of college.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, very cool. So you were recently promoted to afternoon host at 97.9 Kiss FM. Congratulations.
Yeah, congrats.
Thank you.
I
So
listen to you
awesome.
often.
Yes,
thanks.
yes.
Thanks.
So cool. How do you like your new spot?
I love it. I don't have to leave work at like 10 or 11 p.m. anymore. It's kind of nice.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it just feels like a great fit. Like I have this really bad habit of being like a perfectionist and my worst critic. And when I started the night gig, I was so nervous. I was like, God, I hope everyone likes me. At the same time, I also don't care about being liked, which is a very weird. To be in radio, you have to be okay with both, being liked and also not being liked. But I was really nervous for the longest time doing nights. And I was worried that I was going to have that same sort of self-sabotage feeling when I started the afternoon gig. But it felt just like perfect. I love it. This is a city that I grew up in. You know, everyone's in their cars at this time, and I love getting texts from my friends and other like friends of friends that are like, "Oh my God, you sound so great!" Like it's just been a great fit, the perfect move. I couldn't be more happy.
Is it weird to hear yourself on the radio? Like you do, advertisements and stuff too. So they play throughout the day. Is it weird being in your car and listening and hearing yourself?
A little bit, mostly because I'll hear the commercial and I'm like, oh, I could have done that better.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, yeah.
But it's funny because when I'm with my family in the car, I'll be like, turn it down, because I know exactly like what commercial's about to play, and my brother will turn it up.
Of course.
God, you're the worst.
Well, it's always weird hearing yourself. I mean, when I heard this is the first time I've done anything like this, and I was like, oh my gosh, is that what I sound like? When you hear yourself like on an answering machine, everyone hates their own voice, but
for sure.
No, I'm a little narcissistic. Like
perfect.
I kind of like
you have a perfect radio voice.
Good,
Seriously,
good.
you should. It's great.
So was it a big transition, like moving from nighttime to afternoon, or did it just feel right?
It felt really right. The hardest part has been the schedule change, because I've been such a night owl for so long. When I was in college, because I was editing like packages and stuff. So all of my best work got done in the middle of the night when there was no one awake, there was no extra sound. So doing nights made sense for me. Like I could still stay up late, but it also meant I was going to bed late, not having to wake up as early. Now that I'm supposed to be in work at like 10 a.m., it hasn't happened at all. It's happened maybe once in the last like month or so. No one tell my boss. So yeah, the schedule's been the hardest thing to adjust to, is just getting to work earlier. Because before I would get into work at like noon or 1.
Right.
And now I'm like, 10 a.m., that's so early.
Oh my
gosh.
What do you like most about working in radio?
How it connects you with people in like the most random ways. I could say something super random about how... being a big-chested girl makes buying swimsuits in the summer like really difficult, and I'll get like tweets or DMs or something, and they're like, "Girl, preach!" Like me too, and it's just such an easy, simple way of connecting with complete strangers. Like the anniversary of my dad's death was earlier this month. He passed away on June 7th in 2009. So on that day during my show, I just did like a little break about it, talking about how, as tragic as it was one of the best things that ever happened to me, because I was 20 when he died. And when he passed, it was like a fire under me to make him proud and to make my mom proud. And after I did that break, I got a bunch of messages on Instagram like, oh my God, thank you so much for saying that. I lost my grandfather last year. Like, I lost my dad to suicide when I was younger. Like, I totally understand what you're saying. So radio is just such a great way to connect with people. It's of course, it's Justin Bieber and Kim Kardashian and all the fun entertainment stuff, but it's just... you connect with people on these most random things that sometimes wouldn't happen if I didn't have the job that I have.
And you have that platform to do that, which I think is the biggest connector too, being able to, have that big audience all the time. I mean, social media is great for that as well, but it can always go both ways. But being able to connect with people on the radio, I think that's really awesome.
Yeah.
Right.
I just love.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah. And through radio, I've been able to just teach people these random little things about whatever and just been able to make them laugh. And to me, that's what makes it really fun, is that I'm hoping I'm making someone's day just a little more interesting or a little bit better.
For sure. Yeah. Has it opened up your relationship with your community in Jacksonville?
Yeah, because to do my job well, I really have to understand all the different listening areas that we have. I found out that Orange Park in Middleburg is one of our biggest listening areas, which I had no idea.
Oh, wow.
I assumed that's where I grew up. I grew up in Orange Park, and everyone's so dang country out there. So I thought they would be listening to my sister country station, but they're listening. So I was like, oh, well, now I have this whole memory bank of me growing up there. But I moved away from Orange Park when I was in my early 20s. So I'm now I have to get to know the community all over again, because it's obviously changed a little bit in the last 5 years. So yeah, it really forces me to get to know the city better in all kinds of different ways. Yeah.
That's awesome. So in what ways is working in radio different from appearing on TV?
Well, I don't have to care about what I look like on the radio,
nice.
first of all. And that's in more ways than one. I could honestly go to work in jeans and a t-shirt and sneakers every day, and it's cool. It's everyone's uniform, essentially. And on TV, obviously, I kind of have to care more about what my hair looks like, what my eyeliner looks like, which I don't do because I suck at it. And also, I had to really pay attention to my face, because I wear my feelings on my face. I found out because I used to do a show on First Coast News called The Chat, and it was a table full of 4 to 5 women sometimes, and we would talk about the day's hot topics. And if I was disagreeing with someone, you would be able to tell in what I was saying. But if they were talking and I was clearly disagreeing what they would say, it was showing on my face. And I was like, all right, I need to watch that. That's not cute. But that's the only real difference, is that it's taught me to be way more aware of how I look, and that's it's played into other parts of my life. If I'm talking to someone who I'm not necessarily close with, but we're talking about something like politics, something where it can get, crazy real fast. It's taught me to be really aware of how I sound and how I look, because I don't ever want someone thinking that I'm disrespecting them while they're trying to explain their thoughts, their opinions to me.
Right.
Right. Yeah, that sounds really challenging.
Yeah, it can be. Yeah.
Depending on who you're talking to. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, definitely. So in addition to appearing on the airwaves, you're a fellow podcaster too, which we love. Tell us a little bit about your show, But First Brunch.
So it was originally started by me and my now former coworker, Jessica Cooper. We started it together because she was working mornings and I was working nights at the time. So whenever she would be leaving, I'd be coming in, and we've been friends for a few years, so that that little time would be our time to sort of catch up on what's going on or talk about the big entertainment story of the day. And she's such a very insightful, positive person, and I can be pretty cynical, but also insightful. So our conversations would kind of take a more under the surface sort of turn. So instead of talking about just whatever Chrissy Teigen said that day, we would take it a little deeper and be like, well, how many people do you think this way? Or well, why do they agree with her? So we turned that into a podcast, sort of a more insightful, deep way of talking about entertainment and local things and seeing how it's sort of shaping millennial culture, especially just because, we have all this information, we have all these people that we look up to, but it's what is, how is that really affecting us?
Right.
Yeah.
I love that. It sounds like it happened really organically.
It
You guys were already having these conversations.
Yeah,
that's basically what it was.
Yeah.
And then it was a really great way for us, because it was centered around the concept of when you're sitting at a brunch table with your friends, you're catching up on the week's news, you might be a little loose because you've had a mimosa or two. It's just casual, honest conversation. And we also used it as a way to start talking to other people in the community. So we started bringing on people like Donna Deegan, Shelby Danielson from First Coast News to talk about the concept of fake news and how it affects her job too as a reporter. And it's been a lot of fun. But now it's just me, because Jess left. So Jess left. She decided to follow. She found her passion in life, which was very exciting to watch her do. But at the same time, I was like, okay, bye.
Yeah.
I'll miss you. So now it's just me for now.
So what's the future of But First Brunch now that it's just you? What is it going to be, more interviews, or
it's going to be it's still going to essentially stay the same. I'm kind of looking for a new co-host, so we'll see what happens with that. But I think it's essentially going to stay the same. It's going to evolve like anything should. But yeah, it's sort of just figuring that out right now.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Do you have any tips for new podcasters like us who are just getting started?
have fun. People can tell if you're not having fun. And then it's just like, all right, this girl sounds like she's trying to pull her own teeth while also talking about something that she doesn't want to talk about.
Right.
So just have fun and be really interested in what you're talking about.
Right. Yeah.
And just be yourself.
For sure.
And even if you don't have the equipment, like you can use whatever. Use like a little $50 snow mic that you can buy on Amazon or whatever.
Right.
Just use whatever you got. It'll all come eventually.
It's for the people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I've been surprised because obviously we work for the city and, we have a whole hierarchy, but our director has been really happy with us just being ourselves. So that's what we've been doing.
Yeah,
which
for
I've
sure.
been surprised. So I was like, yay.
Yeah, that's the fun thing, especially with something so informal like this, is that you have the freedom to be yourself. So do it. It makes a listener connect with you so much more when you like unknowingly you give off like a little quirk and you let them into your life that much more, and it just makes it more fun to listen to. That's why I'm as weird as I can possibly be. I'm like, guys, this is it. This is all you get. I'm 100% me.
That's awesome. What do you think makes a great radio show or podcast?
I mean, the same thing. Having from the personality side, having fun, being yourself, being authentic. Don't try to be something or someone that you're not, because people can always tell. From like a producer standpoint, is just understanding your content and liking your content, like what you're going to talk about, and just being planned. Like there's no such thing as being over prepared. Like I'm notorious for having these long sheets of all these things that I want to talk about, and then I'll create like this idea tree out of all the things that I want to talk about on top of those. So I just the planning of it's always really fun for me, at least, because I like having an argument kind of semi prepared. But yeah, I think that between the two, just being able to really dive into content that you already like and then getting to be yourself makes it really fun.
Yeah.
And thinking about stuff that I'm already interested in, things that I already follow, has helped as well. Just kind of knowing what do you like and what do you want to hear. People are probably very similar. So
Yeah,
trying to
definitely.
kind of, learn from other people that are already doing it well and that I already enjoy. It's been really helpful.
I listen to podcasts differently now from when I started
Exactly.
mine. It's now I listen to not just what they're saying, but also the production value of what they're doing and like how they edit and stuff. Like My Favorite Murder. Do you guys listen to that podcast?
It's my favorite. I
so
always
good.
talk about it.
So
Yes.
good. So I just love how normally like you would, if you cared about being like, a sort of uptight, more like all together type of podcast, you would edit out the banter they have, because they'll have like 15 minutes of banter at the beginning. But that's what makes them so fun to listen to, is because they're talking about such dark material. You're getting stories about them, and you're finding out who they are as people, as women, and their careers, and you find out all these little things, and it's so fun to listen to that. So instead of because I also love NPR podcasts. I think they're so well done, but they're also very produced. Like they edit out things constantly, and I love that about My Favorite Murders, that they leave in the banter and there's not a whole lot of editing that's done on theirs. And
Right, yeah.
it's fun to
Sometimes the
listen to.
banter can last for like 30, 40 minutes, but you just feel like you're hanging out with friends at that point, which I think is the best kind of podcast to listen to.
It is a lot of fun.
Yeah. What are some of your other favorite shows?
There's another one called Who Weekly that my friend Annie introduced me to. This is like the entertainment gossip junkie part of my personality that I feed sometimes. But their tag is, it's the podcast with everything you need to know about the people who you don't. So it's about these C, D, E, F list celebrities that like no one really knows about. Like they're always talking about Rita Ora, who is the singer. It's their patron saint of the podcast is what they call her, because no one really knows who she is, yet she partakes in what they call hooey behavior, where she's like trying to act like she's more famous than she is. And no one knows who she is. So they're always talking about these just random celebrities that no one really kind of knows about, but you also should, because it's funny. I don't know. They're really entertaining.
That's a great concept.
There are a couple of
though.
freelance
that's
writers.
hilarious.
Yeah.
It's really, really funny. There are a couple of freelance writers, so they always have like a little bit of extra little tidbits that no one else would really know. So it's fun.
Awesome. What are some of your own personal goals for the future?
I have no idea.
Cool.
It's open.
It really is. I used to freak out about not having a plan. And I'm turning 30 this year, and so I'm just kind of trying to give myself a break. Like, this was the position that I'm in now, afternoons on 97.9, is a position that I was literally told I would never have, that I would have to like move away to another city, work in a smaller market to then have even have a chance at a position like this. And now I'm here.
Wow.
So I'm like,
You showed them.
Yeah.
exactly.
Love it.
But it kind of made me realize that like I didn't plan for that to happen, so I'm not gonna really psych myself out and try to have some kind of 5 to 10 year plan. Like I'm just kind of living life, and I'm happy with what I'm doing right now. And I'd like to do TV full-time one day. Maybe if there was an opportunity to do a really cool morning show on the radio, I wouldn't say no to that either. But I'm just kind of waiting to see where this takes me so far. I've been in this for a couple months now. I'm like, all right, well, I'll just feel it out. Yeah.
I love it. And we saw on Instagram that you recently got a brand spanking new library card.
I did. Technically, it's my boyfriend's car, but we share it. He never uses it. It's mine now.
That's awesome. We love seeing that you're using the library. What kinds of materials have you been checking out from our collection?
Well, the last thing that I checked out, and it's technically overdue, so sorry, guys.
It's all right. That's how we make our money.
Yeah, right. You're about to get a fat late fine from me. That's for sure. But it's called The Accountant's Story. It's the story of Pablo Escobar, written by his brother Roberto Escobar. I'm half Colombian, so the cartel trade, the whole thing with Pablo Escobar is a very big part of our history. Sometimes it's the only thing that the average person knows about my country. And so for that reason, and just all of the corruption and the pain and the violence that it brought on to Colombia, I've kept my distance from like finding out more about the story. I'm like, it's not important. It's done. He's gone, like whatever. But then I was like, maybe like if I'm going to read it anywhere, I might as well just read about it like from the family, because Roberto was the accountant for the cartel, for the Medellin cartel. And it's really frustrating. It's taking me a while to read, which is why it's overdue, because I was getting mad reading like the first few chapters because it sounded like such an apology story. It was this constant prose of him going, here's what my brother did. I know it was kind of bad, but here's all the other things that he did that were really great for Medellin, and that's why he did all those bad things. Because the city of Medellin in Colombia loves the Escobar family, and specifically Pablo, because he brought them so much success. He was giving people jobs, like essentially was making cocaine, but he was giving them jobs, and he was buying them supplies and paying for schools and paying for soccer fields and stuff. So the story of Pablo Escobar is a very love-hate story, and I've been reading that book, and I still haven't finished it because it still makes me mad as I'm reading it. Yeah. But it's a really interesting read.
Wow. Sounds like an emotional read. I love it.
It is. Yeah. It's really frustrating to read it.
Yeah.
But I needed to, I don't know, I'm also trying to get more in touch with my Hispanic roots, because I call myself media gringa, which in English is half gringa. Most of us know what gringo and gringa means. So I'm trying to like relearn my Spanish, embrace my culture more, really get into the history of it. And unfortunately, this is a part of the history.
Right.
So, the more you know.
I was going to say, the key to understanding, just learning more. That's great.
Yeah.
So one of my biggest, I guess, struggles about working for the library sometimes is like convincing people of our generation, like a younger generation, that the library has value and that you should be using it. And it's not always all about Amazon and Netflix. Like,
true, yeah.
You got to get in there. So what do you think the library has to offer millennials?
I mean, just the amount of information there is here. Like, just waiting to when I was coming here to meet you guys, I was walking through was it the Ansbacher map room?
Yeah.
Oh my God, there's so much cool stuff in there.
I know it.
Like, I took a Florida history course when I was in college, and it was by far one of my favorite courses that I had taken, because I live here, and it was really cool to see or to learn how much history happened around where I was living, and to see the diorama of the Great Fire of 1901, and just to see how far and how much damage there was because of that fire was crazy. I was like mapping it out, and I was like, oh my God, the fire stopped 2 blocks from where I live right now.
Wow. Oh, wow.
It's nuts. Yeah. So just understanding about the place where you live gives you that much more appreciation of it. And I think that's something that at least our generation is sort of moving a little bit away from, is to really appreciate where you are and what came before you, so that you can have a more informed life. And, maybe it'll affect decisions that you make in the future. And I also found out that you can check out DVDs from the library.
Exactly.
And it's free. So
Blockbuster still exists at the library.
Right. It's like if you don't want to pay, $10 a month for Netflix, you can just come to the library and check out a DVD.
Yeah.
So I also thought that was kind of cool. So it's just at least for me, I love the city so much, and I love learning about the history of Jacksonville so much that, just seeing that diorama, and then that 31-foot painting that Lee Adams painted of when the French landed, and seeing just sort of like his depiction of what that must have been like. It's just beautiful. And it's so cool to see. Jacksonville's got a rich history,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And we have an entire collection about it. So
exactly.
Come check it out.
Yeah, please do. And we asked this at the end of all of our interviews, and we kind of touched on this. You said you didn't always want to work in radio, but what did you want to be when you grew up, when you were a kid?
Ooh, girl, let me give you a list. So when I was in kindergarten, I wanted to be an ice skater. had never been ice skating in my entire life at that point, but I really loved Tara Lipinski and all of her sparkly dresses, so I just wanted to be an ice skater for the clothes. And then as I got older, I was in high school. Between kindergarten and high school, I didn't have any career plans because I didn't want to be anything, which was kind of weird.
Fair. That's fair.
But then when I got to high school, I took a marine biology class and I really loved it. And I was like, I'm going to be a dolphin trainer. I'm going to go work at SeaWorld. Then I found out how much science you have to take to do that. And I was like, ooh, pass on that. That doesn't sound fun. And then when I started college, I wanted to be a high school English teacher because growing up, all of my English teachers were amazing. And I was like, I want to be like that. I'd also seen the movie Freedom Writers with Hillary Swank. And I was like, that's going to be me. I'm going to be an inspirational English teacher. Nah, I didn't have the patience for that. I did 1 week of shadowing for one of my education classes. And I was like, all right, you guys are great, but I can't do this.
Every single day.
Right. I was like, nah. It was also summer school. So I was like, if this is the rowdiest bunch of the classes, like, I can't do this. I'm sorry. And then after that, it was like, maybe I'll do communications. And then from there, it was like, I'll be a news anchor. And then I was like, I don't have like the guts, like the drive to really do like 24/7 news. And I admire journalists so much because that's like half my training at UNF was, writing and learning to write, learning to shoot, learning the ethics of journalism. And I think it's such an admirable job to have. And I was like, I can't do that. I know what I can and can't do. And I don't have the drive to be that kind of person. So I went over to the easier side. I did entertainment and it's worked. I'm glad that I found it. I eventually fell into it.
I don't know if it's easier, but it definitely fits you.
People can come and like the thing is that's why like especially I've become friends with some of the journalists in town is that I love how nice they can be when they shouldn't have to be. People can be so mean. They'll tweet, they'll comment on a Facebook post and they're just so mean. And it's like this person's just doing their job. If someone tweets me like that, I have every right and I have the freedom to tweet back at them and clap back and be like, yo, you suck. Like you can't just say that about someone you don't even know. But they have to constantly be composed and just be polite most of the time. So
yeah, that would be the harder aspect.
Yeah, I can't
do
that. Sounds tough for me.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could work in entertainment.
No.
Yeah.
I
would be clapping back every minute.
No, in entertainment you can. Like with my job, you can totally do that.
True,
yeah,
true.
if you're a news reporter, like
right.
you can't.
You have to maintain that face.
Yeah, exactly.
That is tough.
I couldn't.
That is
I've got too much an opinion and a temper for that. So no.
Well, we are so glad that you wound up in entertainment because
Yes,
you are
big
so
fan.
great. Yeah, we're big fans.
Thank you so
and
much.
it's been so much fun having you on the show today. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Y'all support the library.
Yes.
Go get a library card. There's
Yes.
so much. Just walking up the four floors it took to get here, I was already seeing so much that makes me love the library even more. And shout out to the Clay County Public Library where I spent most of my childhood.
Oh yes, we love our neighbors in Clay County.
Oh, yeah.
And Catalina, why don't you tell everyone where we can find you and follow you?
Yeah, so you can find me Monday through Friday, 2 to 7 p.m. on 97.9 KISS FM and everywhere online at Catalina On Air.
Exactly. And I am one of those people that when I refer to you, I call you Catalina On Air.
No, stop it.
I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry. I do. Oh yeah, Catalina On Air is going to be here. I'm like, okay, that's her Instagram name, not her actual name. Sorry. Don't say that to her face. I had to like remind myself. Just call her Catalina, Jenna. Don't call her Catalina On Air.
Catalina.
Yeah, just Catalina. Like Mango or Cher. Just Catalina.
Well, now that I've met you, we're on a first name basis.
Exactly.
So. Thank you so much for being here, Catalina. This has been so fun.
This is awesome. Thank you, guys.
Catalina On Air. I love her.
Oh, I love her too.
I know. I'm such a fangirl. I follow her Instagram stories. They're always so fun.
Yeah.
And you never know when she's going to talk about the library on her Instagram because she is a huge fan.
She's a huge fan. And I think that really, really showed when we talked to her. Yeah.
Yeah. And then when you were walking her out, what did she discover?
Yeah, she discovered. She mentioned that she wants to do her genealogy and learn more about her family and where she comes from. And I mentioned to her, like, well, you can talk to one of our librarians and they'll help you with that. And we have Ancestry.com for free.
Exactly.
If you have a library card.
And you have to be at the library to do it.
Yeah.
Right.
But she's already here a lot. Mm-hmm. So she was like, oh my God, I'm going to do that. And she's going to learn more about her family.
I love that. Yeah.
If you, listener, are interested in your genealogy, please come to the library. Use Ancestry.com. We also have a whole genealogy collection in our special collections here at the main library. So yeah, get on that.
And definitely ask someone to help, because I've tried to go on that Ancestry.com while I've been here before, and it's kind of hard to navigate.
Right.
But our librarians are really, really knowledgeable, and especially if you go to special collections, that's what they do. So ask them, and they will hook you up.
Right? It is true. Yeah. And Catalina also mentioned that she's looking for a co-host. Uh-oh.
Who's got what it takes?
I mean, I think we have what it takes, don't you
I
think?
don't know. I would be really nervous to be a co-host with her.
Really?
Yeah, I feel like it'd be a lot of pressure.
It would. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
I'd have to get in the entertainment mindset too, because I don't really follow all that stuff.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm just like
super well.
Kardashians. They're a family.
Oh, I love the Kardashians.
Hey,
so I'm not
oh,
gonna
really?
lie. Yes, I
Wow.
do.
True confession.
I don't have cable anymore, so I don't watch the Keeping Up with Kardashians show, but I did. Yeah.
I'm sorry for your loss.
Thank you. It's been very hard,
Yeah.
but I'm living with it.
That's good. I'm glad. She also, we were both shocked to learn that Catalina hates photo shoots.
I know. What the heck?
Right? She's such a radio person now.
Exactly.
Like,
That's true. That's what it is. She's out of the TV
Hiding
mode,
behind that
doing
mic.
hair
Yeah.
and makeup.
it's
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
Hiding behind the headphones, the glamorous headphones that we wear, and her
It is
microphone.
quite glamorous. We look
know.
so good right now.
I
we have
think
like
so.
a fan blowing on us. Our hair is blowing
My
in the
hair
wind.
is nice and poofed up underneath
Yeah.
them. Yeah, it's super cute.
Yeah, but we took a little photo with her in
Yes.
special collections.
You can
It was
find that
fun.
on our website.
Indeed.
Wherever you are listening right now, make sure you subscribe and leave us a review.
Preferably 5 stars.
Yes.
Yes.
Recommended, but not required.
Not required. Recommend. Of course. And make sure you check out our webpage, jackspubliclibrary.org/podcast. And also follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Jack's Library. We will be back next Monday with a brand new show.
Yes. Don't miss it, guys. Don't miss it.
Do not miss it. If you subscribe, you won't miss it.
Exactly.
I mean,
So
that's the
subscribe.
point. Yeah, subscribe. This podcast is produced by Brian Thomas, aka BT, aka Producer Brian. Goodbye.
Tip of the tongue.
To the lips.
That's Hurley was a theater star, so
I was a
she
theater
teaches
star.
us all of her.
I have a lot of good vocal
okay.
warm-ups.
vocal warm-ups.
I don't know any vocal warm-ups.
Okay, let me teach you some.
Okay.
So first, you can, just to like get your full range of your voice, you can go, "Help me, I'm melting.
Oh Lord.
Help me, I'm melting." And then red leather, yellow leather.
That's my favorite.
That one I remember. Yeah.
am the Duke. I am the Duchess.
Where
Yeah,
does
what
that
is that?
come from?
Yeah, where-
Way down. I can never
Okay.
get way down there.
Dang.
Gotta warm up.
I am the Duchess.
Brian loves my vocal warm. He's like, we're recording.
Red,
leather,
Red
yellow
leather, yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather.